Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that'll help you become your best self. And today we're talking about self defeating beliefs and how to stop getting in your own way. But before we do that, as always, I want to invite you to come say hi to me on social media. My handle is at Sabrina Joy Perozo, and how to spell that is down in the show notes below. And I would love to just say hi to you. And if you have any questions or comments, or let's just be friends, I would love to say hi to you over there on either one of those platforms. If you prefer, you can send me an email to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. Again, with any questions, comments, concerns, progress, feedback, topic suggestions, any of those things. If you do have a topic suggestion, but you don't want to let me know directly, it is totally fine. There is an anonymous survey in a topic suggestion, form for you to fill out that's also in the show notes below. So if you want to suggest a topic for the show, but you don't want me to know that it's from you, totally fine. Just go ahead and submit it that way. Another form that's down there in the show notes is an anonymous venting form. So if you need something, get something off your chest, something that's bothering you, or just need someone to vent to, and you don't have someone in your life that you trust, or you don't have someone in your life that is emotionally available to listen to you vent, totally understand. You're welcome to use that form. Again, it's anonymous. I will not know it's you. You can just share what you're going through and just be able to get it off your chest and then move forward. As well as the link to my weekly newsletter that generally goes out every Wednesday afternoon, early evening. I've been kind of behind on that lately, but you can still sign up for it. I will still be sending that out eventually and getting caught up on that this week. And I send out a lot of updates on what's coming up, what's happening, and then other additional knowledge and storytelling that can really help us learn different lessons as we're going through our everyday life. So, anyway, check all that out in the show notes below. Let's go ahead and jump into today's episode, which again is self defeating beliefs and how to stop getting in your own way. So, it's so easy to get in our own ways. It's probably one of the easiest things, and we don't even realize that it's happening. So much so that we think we are doing the most for the best outcome. We're like, okay, we have this all situated. I have everything planned out. It's going to go fantastic, right? But it's really just causing us more grief than necessary. And we get in our own way when it could have been so much more simpler, right? We didn't have to do all this, that, and the other. It's like you didn't need the whole parade and everything that was happening. You could have just done three steps and been on your way. I'm sure that we've all been there, right? But I'm also besides that, it's important for us to understand that we're getting in our own way by doing a lot and having these self-defeating beliefs. It really just kind of gets in the way of our living our best life. But I'm also bringing this up because I thought it would be a fun topic to do a series on for TikTok. And then that series hasn't started yet. It is going to be the next one. I started one previous to this, which is how to stop stress in the moment. And it's kind of just based on a podcast episode that I've already done. But I think I'm going to do this one, Self Defeating Beliefs, a short series on TikTok because, there is only so much knowledge you can put in a short video. So I wanted to flesh it out more here on the podcast. But the short form TikTok version will be helpful if you just need to have it in your back pocket, as a reminder. But we'll be able to talk more deeply about each belief that we're going to bring up today, a little bit deeper than spending 90 seconds to 2.5 minutes at max talking about each thing. So, anyway, that's just the inspiration of why and how we're here. Um, I did want to point out because when I was naming this episode, I was like, stop getting in your way. And I realized, oh, yeah, there's another episode that kind of has a similar name to that. So, a few months ago, I did an episode on self sabotage and getting out of your own way. And in that episode, I went into what it looks like if you are self-sabotaging and if you're not familiar what it's all about and the steps to take to work on that mindset and behavior and even some quote unquote symptoms and ways for you to identify that you are struggling with self-sabotage. But today's episode is going to be different and I wanted to make sure I pointed that out because I don't want anyone to isn't that I'm afraid of like judgment or anything. I just want to be honest with, I don't want someone to think like, oh, you just did the same episode again. Because sometimes it can definitely be helpful to redo an episode with updated information and more time and really like experience and expertise since I've started this show. But it's not the same. So today's episode is going to be more like uh, different that because instead of sharing tips on how to stop self sabotage, I will be talking about the mindset and beliefs we have that are self defeating and getting in our way. But I do want to mention that if you would like more information about self sabotage and how to release yourself from that behavior, then you should listen to episode 388, which again is talking all about self sabotage, which is just another version of getting in your own way. And I think that would be really, really helpful to some people. So just wanted to put that out there. But let's chat about self defeating beliefs and mindsets, which is what we're here for. So these are negative beliefs about yourself and like what's going on around you, heavily based in your personal perspective of the world around you and unfortunately, but naturally, clouded by biased thinking. And biased thinking is just thinking that is heavily based upon like what you've experienced, what you've gone through, only things that you know and not things that other people know or could be possible outside of your personal experiences and beliefs, even things that you believe to be right or wrong or acceptable, the whole gamut of that. And right off the bat, we know that if we are only seeing the world through our own perspective with our own bias, we will miss a lot and get stuck viewing the world the way we know best, right? And that's a bad thing. Some people are like, oh, I think that's a great thing. I want to just see the world the way that I want to see it. And granted, I agree with that, but also it's like, well, you're going to see it the way you see it, but also it's important to expand it because that's what helps us to grow on the regular. Um, but usually this is negative because negative thinking is easier than positive or even like neutral thinking. So the view that we have in the world is usually like, and like there's some sort of negativity like poured into it about like, oh, this is terrible and that's bad and this is why I don't do this, that, and the other or engage in this or like whatever is happening because it's so much easier just to jump into those negative thoughts rather than try to think like, okay, like what could be good about this or what could be just like fine, acceptable, neutral about this. And it's important to note that these behaviors can also like affect your self-esteem, how you behave in relationships with others, whether that's like a friendship or a romantic relationship or a familiar, like your parents or your sister or your brother or like whoever else is like in your family. And also the status of your self worth, whether you actually have a strong sense of self worth and know that you are capable of doing this, that, and the other, and believe that you can get through these things and that you are capable and you are worthy of love and acceptance and affection and all this stuff from other people also believe about themselves, like being like worthy of being here in the world. These self-defeating beliefs and mindsets can definitely get in the way of you having an acceptable and high self-worth. It's a version of getting in your own way because it prevents you from even trying most times, like trying at anything, or getting caught up in focusing on things that don't matter as much to what you're doing, which again goes back to me talking about how we're out here doing the most and think that we're doing the best and we're really not. We're doing too much. We could have done a whole lot less. So I believe one of the best ways to tackle a belief system and mindset that is no longer serving you, that's something that's like holding you back and preventing you from growing and becoming your best self every single day, um, is to become aware of how it shows up in your life. Where like are there triggers that are correlated to those beliefs popping up and like taking over your mind and really consuming you? Like once you know what to look for, you can acknowledge it when it happens, like when that belief pops up and use that awareness as a trigger to shift your thinking towards something more helpful, towards something that's actually going to benefit you and strengthen you. For example, if you struggle with believing life should always be easy for you, which again this is a real belief. We're not going to talk super deep into this one, but it's a real one. So if you struggle with believing life should always be easy for you, when those moments in life where you do end up going through struggles that you don't believe you deserve, you can acknowledge that mindset and shift to the belief that life will be difficult at times. Like you literally like, listen, no, life isn't going to be easy for me all the time. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be difficulties, but that those difficulties, those experiences will strengthen us and prepare you for what happens in the future. And that's totally great, right? So it's just shifting from that belief of like everything needs to be easy. I don't want to be frustrated or upset or anything ever into actually it's okay to like go through those experiences because those things are going to make me stronger and really benefit me over time. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Here are 10 self defeating beliefs to be aware of and not let consume you. So the first one is perfectionism. I feel like I haven't talked about perfectionism in a little bit, and it's always nice to come back around to it. I personally struggled a lot for the longest time with perfectionism, and many people think they have to be perfect when it's not necessary. It's not. You don't have to. You think you need to, but you don't have to, and it's actually impossible because no one's perfect. But we think that we have to be imperfect. And it's not necessary, even if it's an expectation placed on you by others, it's not necessary. It's also impossible. You can't. And so people will live in this dream world of believing that you need to be perfect for them or be perfect for whatever situation, or that you just tell yourself that you need to be perfect to make people in your life happy or for you to achieve the goals and dreams that you want in your life and for your life to be the best it can be, when in reality, no, you can't be perfect. You cannot. You cannot. You cannot be perfect. You can't. You just can't. I'm telling you. You can't. You can't be perfect. And it's a self defeating belief because you are telling yourself this lie, this fallacy that you have to, and you will push yourself to the brink, to the edge of possibly losing so many relationships and opportunities and even who you believe you are for the sake of chasing something that doesn't even exist. This perfect life that you feel like you need to live. So perfectionism is like definitely a highlighted self-defeating belief that's important to note and become aware of. Oh, also, I forgot to do my disclaimer, you guys. As always, all these tips and this advice is based on my own knowledge and research and the experiences of others that I'm able to share. And if you feel like the tips that I go through today and the advice that I give does not apply to you or is not good enough for you, please ask a professional, ask a counselor, ask a therapist, or go to your best friend, Google, and type in self defeating beliefs and kind of peruse the list there and see if something hits more home for you that would better suit you feeling like you are understanding the topic at hand, or more beliefs to be aware of that would actually cater to you better than what I'm giving. Okay? So, perfectionism. Number two is fear of rejection. Rejection isn't a bad thing, right? It can feel bad in the moment, for sure. It can really suck. It can be terrible. It can be absolutely miserable. But a lot of time being rejected is helpful because it forces you to try something new or move in a different direction or shift away from something that wasn't benefiting you anyway, that maybe you didn't realize in the moment. Like the classic example of this is like a romantic relationship where all of a sudden the person and the other person in the relationship rejects you, and they're like, no, I don't want to be with you anymore. Or if you're dating someone, like just like casually dating in the beginning, and they're like, yeah, I don't like you. Or if you have a crush on someone and you tell that person, they're like, no, and they reject you, like something like that. Those are very classic examples. A lot of times, those rejections can turn into such like a godsend of you not being fully involved with that person and realizing that you dodged a bullet. Like there, you would have had so much regret if you followed through with that relationship, right? Other times where rejection happens is maybe you're trying to buy a home and you put an offer in and you counter and you do all the things and then they're just like, no, we're not going to sell it to you because you're not giving us enough money. And that really hurts and stings. It's something that can be so devastating. But then maybe you realize that, oh my gosh, you might have like pulled out of the deal anyway because there's an inspection and things, there's all kinds of like things happening inside the house that you didn't even realize. And this, that, and the other, right? So maybe you applied for a job and you got rejected and you didn't get to get that job or you didn't get to get that promotion or that raise that you wanted. And it kind of shifted you into doing something else, trying something else, learning something else. And it probably helped you get on that path, the one that you desired the most, rather than doing something you thought in the moment would be the best, but turned out when you look in hindsight, you're like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't do that because I wouldn't be able to be doing this now. I wouldn't have learned this, or I'm actually not really into that. And I actually got into the thing that I'm really into right after that. So I know that it can be difficult in the moment to really want to give rejection a big old hug and be like, yay, I love rejection. Believe me, Believe me, mm, it's painful. It is freaking painful, right? Uh, I would say that even I would say experiencing rejection vicariously through someone else is just as bad as well, especially if it's like your children. I had to do that once years ago when my daughter auditioned for a show and she did not make the cast. It was like her and like five other people, maybe six, 10 at the most. Didn't make the cut, but 90% of the kids did. And yeah, it was rough, right? And you want to cry and you want to be upset and you want to ask questions and you're like, why? Why is this not happening for me? It happened for everyone else, right? You immediately jump into comparison. It can be so tough, but you don't know what that rejection is shielding you from, protecting you from, right? And maybe sometimes you think back on things that you were rejected in and you're like, man, that would have been nice. But it still would have been a different part in your story that would have led to everything else happening now being different. Maybe not like extremely different, but different. Different enough. So let's uh let's try to pull back on our fear of rejection and just realize that if we are rejected, it will probably suck for a little bit, but we'll be strong and be able to move forward and just appreciate the rejection as a gentle nudge towards something else that will fit us better than we could have ever imagined. Okay, number 3, people pleasing. I know so much about people pleasing because I am recovering like people pleaser. Hardcore, hardcore. I was even talking about it today. But, when you're a people pleaser, you are rarely concerned with what you need and overly focused on everyone else, right? It's like everyone is before you. By not making time for yourself or working on what's best for you, you won't achieve your goals. You'll prohibit the growth that you could have in different things and different experiences. And you might even lose yourself in all of that service to others because you don't make time for yourself. And this is exactly what happened to me. I lost who I was. I didn't know who I was. I had no idea like what I really wanted and what I could do and what I was all about, what I needed, boundaries, all of these things. It's one of the main things that I have worked on in therapy every single week for the past 2 years because I realized that I couldn't actually have like good dreams and goals to aspire to achieve because I didn't actually truly know who I was. So I feel like I was just making up things that I'd like to do and have in my life and become because they sounded nice or someone else said that that would be a good fit. And I'm like, okay, well, how would I know? I don't know who I am. But you have to take this time to figure out who you are. And then you can actually like figure out the appropriate dreams and aspirations that you should go after that will actually make a difference, not just be like a waste of your time. You know what I mean? So people pleasing definitely gets in your way of becoming your best self and, doing what you need to do because you're focusing so much on everyone else and not at all on yourself. And you're slowly deteriorating over time. So you're defeating yourself as time goes on. So be aware of people pleasing. Number 4, let's move this along because we got like 6 left. 4, entitlement. Entitlement. I bet you didn't expect that one. Bet you didn't. I bet you didn't. Entitlement. So this can be self defeating because it's a faulty view. Faulty, fake, mistaken, not correct, correct view, right? So you're putting pressure on yourself and others that are involved to give you something that isn't true or beneficial to real life circumstances. Meaning, like if you just went along life without uh, pushing and manipulating people to be a certain way because that's what you expected. Like by having this entitlement belief, you are making people cater towards you and forcing these things to happen, right? And you have expectations on how you should be treated based on like who you are, maybe like what family you come from, how much money you make, what kind of job you have, what you do, and what actions you take, and how you are involved depending upon the situation that's happening. So if you think you're entitled to love from others, from like everyone, that is like your expectation, you will only do things for others expecting to get love in return. So instead of being like selfless, you're like, no, I'm going to do this because I need them to love me. I'm entitled to have love all of the time. And I wanted to put this one as an example because it's a tricky one because, when I talk about self worth, I talk about how everyone is worthy of love and acceptance and respect. And we all are worthy of that, but we can't go around expecting that from every single person on the planet because not everyone's going to like us and not everyone's going to appreciate who we are. It's just really noting that we're all worthy of it because we're all equal in that fashion of like same level of respect and honor, but feeling entitled to something means that you need to have it no matter how other people feel. You feel like that is something that you should be having all of the time and expecting it no matter what, right? No matter what the circumstances are or anything like that, you're deserving of that. Which again, unknown expectations. So yeah, you think that you're just going to put in the actions to get what you want back, or maybe you'll be upset when someone doesn't exhibit love in the way that you expected, in the way that you liked or detailed out or whatever, and you push guilt on them until you get what you want because you feel like you're entitled to receive love from people in the form of like gifts or constant like service to you or whatever it is, right? So entitlement is definitely self defeating because it's not a true view and belief of how real life would be. And I feel like a lot of people that feel entitled will end up learning that lesson sometimes harder than others. Um, but it's just not a real reality to live in because you have this expectation of this, that, and the other that's no one no one should have those expectations. Like being loved or being respected by all because you work at this place or you have this much money or you are whomever, you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous and over the top. So be aware of that entitlement. And that it doesn't mean that like to recognize entitlement, it doesn't have to be some big grandiose thing. It could just be something super small that you feel like every time you have a like a review at work, that you feel like you're entitled to a certain amount of raise when maybe you haven't earned that raise, right? Or you feel entitled to every time you ask someone out on a date that you're entitled to a yes, and then you get a no, and that really upsets you and kind of like puts you off, and it's not like a real reality to live your life in. You know what I mean? So there's that. Number 5 is hopelessness. Mm. You think nothing, like if when you're dealing with hopelessness, you think nothing will ever work out for you. You're just like, nope, it's just not gonna work out. It's not gonna happen. It doesn't seem like love or fulfillment or sparks of joy are like meant for you. You feel like you're just meant for this really tough, sucky life that you're currently going through. And you continue to beat yourself down and not experience like hope and belief that life will change. Like you're just like, no, life is not going to get any different. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any easier. Nothing's going to happen because it hasn't happened. When in reality, it could be different if you allowed yourself to let hope lead you to figure out what action to take to move forward. Because, like, when you have hope in your heart and your mind, and you're like, okay, I believe that, and I have hope that things are going to get better. And then you're like, things are going to get better. Like, we're going to be able to push through this struggle. And then you're like, you're more open to, like, okay, well, what can I do? And what action should I take? And what's the correct one? And should I ask for help? And you have hope that it can change. But when you're hopeless and you have no hope at all, and you're like, nope, this is just the way it is, it's going to suck forever. It's self-defeating because you're not going to try to do anything new. You're not going to try to change your situation. You're not going to do anything. You're just going to continue to feel down in the dumps in your pit of despair, live there forever because you're lacking hope and belief that life could be different from what it is. And that's so tough to be there, but you have to acknowledge hopelessness the moment that you feel it creep up because it can just build, build, build so quick. And then you're just in the thick of it, and it's much harder to unearth you from that thick mountain of hopelessness. Number 6, needing approval and validation. You will feel defeated every single time you don't get the approval and validation you think you need when making a decision, saying the correct thing, looking a certain way, or even being told you did a good job, like whatever it is. There's so many other examples in between. But when you are so addicted and in need of other people's approval and validation for what's going on in your life, you're basically becoming a prisoner to someone else's judgment and opinions of you. You're becoming their prisoner because they get to decide how you feel that day because you've given them the power to do so. So if they're like, oh no, I do not agree with the way that you dressed today or the way that you did your work or like the decision that you made to do this, that, and the other. And then you feel guilty and then you feel overwhelmed and like you have to do something different when why do they have such a chokehold on your life? It's ridiculous. So you don't need other people's approval and validation. That's not something you should be clinging to. And it'll definitely be you getting in your own way of just like making your own mistakes and failures and figuring out what works best for you and what you actually enjoy and what would be beneficial in you becoming your best self every single day. Number 7, closed mindedness. Closed mindedness, also known as perspective. I sigh because it's something that I've talked about with some certain people in my life, and it's so difficult to get them to understand the importance of perspective. So I hope this makes sense to you because perspective is everything. It's everything. It helps so much. It helps you recognize new solutions and strategies. It helps you to see and experience the way someone else would, which is really helpful when you feel like hurt or betrayed by someone and you can kind of like turn the tables in your mind and be like, wait, well, how do they feel? Or what did they go through? Or did they not think that this is what was going to happen? Or whatever it is. Or maybe even how you may have inflicted pain on someone else. You see, like both ways. Um, or be more accepting of things you don't know and understand and know or understand and learn new skills that will benefit you in the future. So, being closed minded and not being able to widen your perspective, which is like one of my favorite phrases, not being able to widen your perspective is detrimental to you because being closed minded closes you off from so much of the world and the opportunities that you could have uh, and anything that you have yet to experience. You are not allowing yourself to experience your life fully every day if you're constantly being closed minded because it's just the way that you do things. It's just what makes you feel most comfortable. It's just what should like happen, right? It's just the way that you know. That shouldn't be your excuse. You need to push through and start to slowly open your perspective and widen your perspective and not be so close minded and realize there's so much that you're missing out that you'll really enjoy. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. Number 8, fixed mindset. So if you're in a fixed mindset, you don't believe you can do or learn more than you have done so far. You're like, you believe your skills and abilities end at the point where it comes naturally. So it's like whatever you're not good at naturally, it's like something you believe that you'll never learn. And then the extent to which you can understand and do something on your own, like before having to like ask for help or work on it, no, that's where it ends. It's like, oh no, this is as far as I can go. We cannot go any farther. When in reality, you're just holding yourself back, right? Again, that mindset is just keeping you stuck where you're at and not allowing you to nurture the skills and abilities you need more time to work on, or even abilities that you don't think you're good at, but you haven't actually tried it because it's not something that you're naturally good at. And so you're like, oh, I possibly can't be good at that because it's not like something supernatural. This comes to you, which is incorrect. So a fixed mindset will hold you back all day, every day. It'll also cause a lot of frustration, jealousy, comparison because you're like, well, why are they doing all this stuff? And I'm not doing this stuff. It's because you haven't tried. You haven't opened your mind to just give it a little try. You know, might not work out the first, second, third time, but you gotta try. You gotta figure it out on your own and realize that just because you're not good at something from the jump, it doesn't mean you can't be really good at something later once you put the time and effort and work in. And that will get in your way if you just continue to live on with that fixed mindset. Okay, number 9, fear of feelings and emotions. So, this is just really a reminder that you can't sweep everything under the rug. If you try, it'll end up being a volcano later. It all is spewing out, and that's definitely self defeating because you're getting in your own way of better understanding yourself and, becoming stronger in your mindset. You have to let your emotions flow and be experienced to better understand like what's happening, why it's happening, and what you should do next. The what, why, and what's next. The issue usually is that allowing emotions to be acknowledged will come off as weak and too vulnerable, which is not true. It'll be vulnerable, but it will not and should not be labeled as weak. But in reality, this will help you increase self awareness and be more balanced, which is what we're all like striving for, I think. Balance in our life. Be more balanced in approaching things without worrying about your emotions and the corresponding reactions or responses that may go along with those emotions. So instead of constantly worrying about them, you're just like, okay, it's just going to happen. It's going to flow. We're going to figure it out, rein it in if we need to, and allow myself to better understand myself and what is affecting me that way and why, and what we should do moving forward. Not necessarily to prevent it from happening again, but maybe if it's just like too much. So having a fear of feelings and emotions isn't going to help you better understand yourself. It's going to prevent you from doing that. It'll cause more problems as you are continually triggered by certain things and not really putting all those puzzle pieces together to better understand, again, the what, why, and what's next, which is super, super important. Okay, number 10, and the last one I have to share for you today is the brush fire fallacy. Brush fire fallacy. So, I discovered this one when I was doing the research of putting together the series for the TikTok. And I was like, wow, this is so interesting. I don't think I've heard of this really. But it made sense. So this is the idea, the brush fire fallacy. This is the idea that if one person believes something negative about you, that same thought, opinion, or belief will spread to everyone else connected to the experience, similar to a brush fire. It's kind of like wildfire. Like when people say like, "Oh, it's going to spread like wildfire." It's like, yeah. So you're afraid that like however you come across will spread like wildfire to everyone else involved, and it's usually based in something negative. So you have this fear of it. But having this belief will only push you to pretend to be someone else, put that mask on, be super people pleasery to hopefully prevent this from happening, or just avoiding situations where many people are involved altogether. So you don't have to get any disapproval from anyone and risk the opportunity of something about you spreading like wildfire. When in reality, I don't feel like that's likely to happen. I feel like we think a lot of times that other people are thinking about us more than it's actually happening. A lot of people are just thinking about themselves and not necessarily what you're doing and what you're up to. I'm not saying that's all the time. There's definitely a lot of times when people are thinking about you and judging you, right? And wanting to trying to figure out how to hurt you because that's like the game they're playing. But I would say most likely not. But I understand how if you're like, maybe if you're going to give a presentation, if you're going to say something in front of a group, um, maybe you're supposed to come dressed in some sort of dress code and you don't feel like you fulfilled it, and you're worried about what's going to be said afterwards. So just something to keep in mind, because if you find yourself getting caught up in that belief, you want to be aware of it and be like, wait, what? Wait, why? Why am I so freaked out by this? Why do I think this one person is going to expose me as something that I'm not, and then I have to defend myself or whatever, right? And also, if someone does spread something like that and it spreads like wildfire and everyone is like instantly believing it without questioning it, I think you just need to leave that event because that's just like, that sounds like a bunch of sheep in one room that only want to believe what they're told, which is not the way to live your life. I'm just telling you. But that is all 10 of the self defeating beliefs that I want you to be aware of so that when you are aware of them, you can understand how you're feeling, what's triggered it, and what you need to do to shift your mindset and move forward. But thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast again with me, Sabrina. I appreciate you listening, downloading, and sharing the show. You guys are all amazing. I appreciate every single one of you. And again, check the show notes below to sign up for the weekly newsletter, to submit an anonymous venting session, to submit an anonymous topic for this show, to visit me on social media, send me an email, do all of the things. But until next time, have a good one, and I will see y'all next time. Bye, everyone.